Welcome to Zvia Weight Loss and Medspa. If you've been doing everything right, eating well, exercising, really trying to get that sleep, and you feel like your body just isn't responding the way it used to, you're not imagining it. Something is genuinely different. Maybe recovery takes longer, your energy dips earlier, or your body composition is shifting even though your routine hasn't changed at all. And probably the most frustrating part is that nobody's been able to give you a clear, specific answer as to why. Well, today we're going to explore that answer. It really comes down to something called peptide therapy, and more specifically, the biology of peptide signaling. Now, peptides are these tiny, short chains of amino acids that act as your body's most precise communication system. They carry very specific instructions between your cells, telling your body when to repair, when to grow, when to fight an infection, and how to manage your metabolism. Honestly, understanding how this signaling system works and how it changes over time is one of the most useful things you can learn about your own health. So, to really get a handle on the changes you might be feeling, we first have to appreciate just how vast and essential this internal communication system really is. Get this, your body produces over 4,000 different types of these little messengers. They regulate growth, repair, metabolism, immunity, pain perception, mood, appetite, pretty much every biological process you experience every single day. It's this huge, intricate network that's just absolutely vital. And here is the core challenge. This whole system changes over time. After about age 21, growth hormone secretion declines by about 14 to 15% every single decade. So that feeling of getting older isn't just in your head. It is a specific, measurable decline in a signaling system that we can actually understand. Okay, so let's get into the science of how this works. It's actually incredibly elegant. Think of it like a key fitting into a very specific lock. At its core, a peptide is just a short chain of amino acids, but the real magic is in its unique three-dimensional structure. That specific shape is what makes it the key, determining which receptor lock it can bind to. It's that perfect fit that allows it to deliver a very precise instruction to a very specific cell. And when that peptide key fits into its lock on the cell's surface, it does more than just open a door. It kicks off a huge chain reaction inside. A single peptide binding to one receptor can generate thousands of second messenger molecules inside the cell. That's how even tiny amounts of these peptides can produce such powerful body-wide effects. It's an incredibly efficient system. And your body is running several of these major systems all at the same time. You've got the growth hormone axis handling tissue repair. You have incretin hormones that your gut produces after a meal to handle up to 80% of the glucose clearance. Then there are thymic peptides training your immune system's T cells and neuropeptides that modulate everything from mood to social bonding. It's a constant coordinated dance. And what's particularly brilliant about this system is that it's self-limiting. It has its own built-in safety guardrails. For example, enzymes in your body break down circulating peptides within minutes. This prevents overstimulation. So the signaling is not only precise, but it has its own off switch to keep everything in balance.
Okay, so we know this system declines, but what does that look like decade by decade? Let's walk through that timeline.
During our 20s, we're at peak production. But after that, it drops about 14 to 15% each decade. Now, this decline mainly comes from a reduced pulse amplitude. Basically, the signals are still firing, but each pulse just delivers less of the hormone. It's like the volume is slowly being turned down over time. And the impact of that really adds up. By our 60s, 42% of adults have growth factor levels that are below the range of a typical young adult. That's not a small number. It's a significant biological shift affecting a huge portion of the population. And the total potential reduction from our peak levels, it can be as high as 95 to 97%. And remember, this isn't just happening to growth hormone. Our thymus, which is central to our immune system, follows a very similar trajectory. These aren't separate problems. They're all interconnected declines in our body's signaling infrastructure. So what can someone actually do to support these peptide systems? Because once you understand how the system works, you can start to work with your biology, not against it. This is the empowering part. Things like nutrition are directly actionable. Specific amino acids can actually stimulate growth hormone release. Resistance training triggers powerful growth hormone pulses. And sleep. That's maybe the biggest lever of all. About 70% of your daily growth hormone release happens during deep, slow-wave sleep. Even social connection has a role. It boosts oxytocin, which helps inhibit the stress cascade. So you can see how nutrition, Exercise, sleep, and stress aren't just generic wellness advice. They are direct biological interactions with these specific peptide pathways. They're powerful levers you can pull every single day. And this is exactly what we do at Zvia Weight Loss and Med Spa. We help you understand what your biology is actually telling you. When someone comes to us describing fatigue or shifting body composition or slower recovery, we're not just guessing. We're reading the biological signals.
Because you really can't address what you haven't identified. And peptide biology is absolutely not generic. It manifests differently in every single person, and it requires a truly personalized approach.
Instead of just chasing symptoms, we use a science-informed approach to look for the shared biological roots in your peptide signaling. We use comprehensive lab panels and your health history to create a strategy that's tailored specifically for you. Understanding your own biology really is the first and most powerful step. So if you're curious about what your biology is telling you, we'd love for you to start the conversation. This isn't a sales pitch, it's a partnership that's built on understanding. You can visit us at www.svavia.com, that's Z as in zebra, V as in Victor, IA.com, or give us a call at 303-902-5353 to schedule your consultation with the Zvia team today.
Please keep in mind, this is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Your Zvia provider will work with you to determine if this protocol is appropriate for your individual needs.